This is why I'm broke.
Okay, y'alls are gonna think I'm weird. Today's study comes from Japan. Yes, you heard me right. More specifically, Sendai, Japan, which is right around here. Research can come from anywhere and it can help you regardless. My field is SLP, or speech language pathology. This study that I'm about to go over is not from there. Nowhere close. It's from, what is it? The Department of Geriatric and Respiratory Medicine. Here is one of the best parts about this study, the authors. There are 15 authors credited, plus an entire group. Who are those authors? Most of them are dentists. See all those DDSs? Those are doctors of dentistry. Yep, dentists. I love research from other countries. Because this is our first research paper together, I kind of pulled a shorter paper and one that's kind of easy to follow along. Now, there's still some medical terminology that I imagine a lot of people will go, what is that? And in all fairness, I had to look up some things too. So now this part over here, read this first. This tells you so much about what there is in this study. Participants, 417. Well, we automatically know this is not a case study. There are two groups, so we have a control and an experimental. So this is looking really good already. And it's a survey, which is pretty good. We'll roll with it. Why not? There's a lot of good research and information that could come from surveys. So we're observing the difference between two different sets of people, i.e. the control group and the experimental group. There was a randomization part of this, which is great. So we automatically know that this research is actually pretty nicely done. It's not the tip top of the pyramid, but we also know it's not the bottom. We know that this is either a well-designed randomized control or an observational control. Either way, not that bad. Now let's dig a little bit more into this study. Well, I don't identify myself with an older patient in a nursing home, but I may work with people that identify as this. So here's the study telling us who makes the cut and who does not. There are 11 nursing homes. Each nursing home has 50 to 100 beds. We know that our top numbers are going to be 550 to 1,100 participants that may be a part of the study. Now, there are some things they have to qualify first, such as being stable for the preceding 3 months. No patient had any chronic pulmonary disease such as chronic obtrusive pulmonary disease, bronchial asthma, and pulmonary fibrosis, i.e. they have no problems with the airway or the lungs. Other people they included were people that were able to feed themselves or they needed help feeding themselves. No feeding tubes. The mental states of all participants were different. Oh yeah, and teeth were optional. They mentioned this later in the study. Here's how people were selected into which group they were going to be in. Randomization was made from a random numbers table. That is fancy talk for basically this was random and generally a computer was involved to ensure the randomness of everything. Now what the participants did and what was done during this whole study was fairly interesting. The control group, business as usual group, just carried on with their daily lives. They brushed their teeth as regularly or irregularly as they normally would have done. Nothing was changed for them. They had the same cares, they had the same everything. It was also noted that no one in the control group actually asked a caregiver to help them with oral care. Experimental group kind of got the VIP treatment once a week. They made sure they had good dental and oral care once a week, minimum, no matter what. So this went on for about 2 years. And when the results came in, things were pretty interesting. Here's the text of the results. If you're like me, this kind of hurts. This is a lot of words. This is a lot of words with numbers that I don't like how they always put together like that. And I like to break things up into a table like this. So here's the basics. Febrile days, meaning days with fevers. Business as usual group, 29% of them had feverish days. People with the extra oral care, 15% of them had feverish days. New pneumonia cases, 19% as the business as usual group and 11% with the forced or specialized oral care group. The frequency of pneumonia cases with the control group or the nothing has changed group, their range was 13 to 29%, whereas the range with those with oral care was 9 to 17%. That is a bigger difference. Now, if a person got pneumonia, regardless of whichever group they were in, here are the facts about the deaths. 16% of those in the control group passed away, whereas only 7% of the oral care group passed away from pneumonia. Before I forget, oral care did not improve activities of daily living. Yeah, gotta mention that. That's pretty much the crash course on this study. How does this affect me right now? Well, get in the habit of good dental hygiene right now and oral care right now, and that will help me in the future. So this week was definitely a positive study. It was something very informative and helpful. Next week, not so much. Till next week.